Hello and welcome to the France 24 interview. My guest today is Prince Turki al-Faisal. He was the head of Saudi intelligence. He's a former Saudi ambassador to the United States, to the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for being with us today in The Hague.
Thank you for having me.
Prince Turki, there have been tensions growing with Iran. The US President Trump warned of war against Iran. Now he seems inclined to discuss, to negotiate with Iran. We've seen the Japanese Prime Minister go to Tehran. Are you afraid that a war with Iran is a very real possibility right now?
Well, thank you very much for this opportunity. May I just start by briefly mentioning the conference I'm attending today, which is about peace and how to achieve peace through the Abdulaziz Babtain Foundation. And it makes one wonder why humanity tends to go into the road to war when the opportunities for peace should be the ones accentuated. But as you say, there are tensions in the area. They're not tensions that were born today. They're not tensions that were born when Mr. Trump came to the presidency. These tensions have been there for some time, and especially as a result of Iranian interference in the affairs of Arab states, from Bahrain to Syria to Iraq to Yemen and farther afield. So it is no wonder that these tensions exist. As you said, President Trump has said that if Iran attacks American interests, America will retaliate. And America has put conditions for removing the sanctions that they have placed on Iran that Iran has not complied with. But President Trump has also offered to talk with the Iranians. If that can achieve the stoppage of interference of Iran in the affairs of Arab states, that would be a welcome development.
But are you optimistic about those talks? I mean, you've denounced over the years Iran's nefarious role in the region. Do you think Iran is really willing to talk with the US? Or do you think they're just trying to win some time?
I'm always hopeful that sensibility can be achieved in the minds of Iranian leadership. However, from their past practice, and how they have continued to be a disruptive force in the area, it's difficult to be optimistic about their actions. Just today, I just saw, somebody showed me that 2 more tankers have been attacked in the Persian Gulf.
Iran is behind those incidents?
I don't know. I am not there to say yes or no, but who else would be there?
Do you fear that Iran, instead of targeting the US, which is a mighty power, might try to target Saudi Arabia directly?
Well, I hope they will think about that more than once. Saudi Arabia will not accept being targeted, although already from the Yemen we're being targeted by Iranian ballistic missiles and Iranian...
Iran says it's not Iran, it's the Houthis.
Well, evidence has been shown in the United Nations about these ballistic missiles with Iranian markings. And if you know the Houthis, you know that they don't have the capability to manufacture these missiles.
So you think there was an incident in recent days about an airport in Saudi Arabia that was targeted. So do you think Iran is behind this attack? Because this is a direct attack on Saudi Arabia, if that's the case.
Well, the Iranians are using the Houthis to do their dirty job. And I hope that they will come to their senses and not escalate the situation.
In Yemen, obviously, there have been negotiations lately in Sweden. Are you optimistic? Because it seems that the implementation of this deal is lagging, to say the least.
And who is the cause of its lagging? It is the Houthis.
Only them?
Of course. Only them. Look at the reports that was made to the United Nations just a few weeks ago by their representative there. The Houthis are the ones who are not adhering to the negotiations and to the conditions of the negotiations.
So war will continue in Yemen for the foreseeable future?
I'm afraid it seems to be that way.
But what about the coalition? The French foreign minister recently said, quote unquote, it's a dirty war, it has to stop. It also includes the coalition led by Saudi Arabia, by the United Arab Emirates.
All wars are dirty.
This one particularly.
Well, not more particularly than other wars. I can mention Iraq, I can mention Algeria, where France played a dirty war. I can mention some places in Asia where there have been dirty wars also. It's not an easy thing. Saudi Arabia has never been for war in Yemen. This is not Saudi Arabia's war. This is the Houthis and the Iranians' war. They're the ones who upset all the peace efforts that were made by the Saudi Arabia and her GCC partners to bring peace to the Yemen a few years back, if you remember. And the establishment of the national dialogue in the Yemen and reaching an agreement that was signed by the Houthis. But it was the Houthis who were turned that militarily, using Iranian weapons to take over Yemen.
So the recent efforts by the UN Special Envoy, Martin Griffith, are doomed to fail?
I have no idea. I wish him the best of luck.
But it seems like mission impossible.
I hope not.
You hope not. We're talking a lot in this conference about peace, Israel, Palestine. Obviously, the Trump administration has convened an economic forum in Bahrain. The Palestinians are furious, first of all, because they were not told about it. They say we're not going to attend. Many Arab countries will attend, Saudi Arabia as well. And everyone is awaiting for Trump's deal of the century. The Palestinian leadership has already said it is dead on arrival.
I have not seen the deal of the century.
No one has.
And I don't think anybody has. So
but is there such a deal? I mean, some people
I have no idea. I'm not in the loop. I'm not an official of the Saudi government, so I don't know what the discussions have been about. What I can tell you is Saudi Arabia's position is that the Arab Peace Initiative is the basis for peace in the Middle East. It's an equitable quid pro quo between Israel, Palestine, and the Arab countries.
But the Trump administration has indicated through its ambassador to Israel that, an annexation of part of the West Bank could be okay. It seems that's where things are heading. The Palestinian leadership is very worried about that there's no more two-state solution as a perspective.
I will not anticipate anything until I see on the ground what that peace initiative is.
But do you trust that Trump really is about to deliver such a plan, or that it's been only talk?
I don't know. I really don't know. But what I told you
if it's not the case.
What I told you is that Saudi Arabia insists on a two-state solution with a Palestinian state that has the capital in East Jerusalem and a peaceful resolution of the refugee problem and the border issues. That is Saudi Arabia's official position, and it will continue to be so.
But there's a lot of talk about Saudi-Israeli rapprochement vis-à-vis Iran.
No, that's mostly Israeli flack.
You gave an interview to an Israeli TV recently.
Well, I give an interview to you. That doesn't mean that we are going to agree on anything.
So Saudi Arabia has not shifted on the issue?
Absolutely not.
Qatar, 2 years, the crisis hasn't brought any results. Qatar's behavior, you wanted it to change. Has it changed? Some people are saying the initiative by Saudi Arabia, its allies, has been a failure, essentially.
Well, time will tell. I think the essential thing is that the Qataris have to change the way that they do things, particularly their support for terrorist activity.
Has this changed?
I haven't seen any change. Their media attacks on not just Saudi Arabia, but the other members of the 4 countries that are boycotting Qatar have not stopped. And as I mentioned, their support for terrorist activity, whether in Syria or other places, continues. Their support for the Muslim Brotherhood continues. So I have seen no change in the Qatari condition at all.
But so it seems that this embargo is not working. If 2 years later there's no change, it means it was a failed strategy.
Then it's for Qatar to change that. It's not for us. Our position is that we will continue the same way as long as Qatar acts in the same way.
Last question, and maybe a more personal thing. You knew Jamal Khashoggi. He worked for you. He
Yes.
was killed in this very gruesome way. Many countries, including the U.S. intelligence services, have accused the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia of ordering the killing. What's your feeling, first of all, personal, and about those very, very grave accusations?
Well, those are not only grave accusations, but they're false accusations. They're
Why not?
based
Why?
on conjecture. They're not based on fact. And if you look at all of the statements of American officials, like the President and his Secretary of State and his former Secretary of Defense, they've all said that they looked at all of the reporting from the CIA and from all of their intelligence agencies, and they have seen no shred of evidence implicating any high officials in
The
Saudi
CIA
Arabia.
says the contrary.
No, the CIA has said, given that the condition in Saudi Arabia, that the Crown Prince is in that position, then conceptually speaking, he must have known about the Arab.
So he didn't know about this?
Of course not.
Why not?
He has said so, because these are rogue elements that have operated against his will and against his knowledge. And then when you talk about rogue operations, I refer you to French rogue operations in the blowing up of a ship in the Pacific, if you remember that, and others. So there are rogue elements that will operate in all countries and in all situations. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prince Turki al-Faisal, for your time, and thank you for watching this interview here on France 24.
Because a new page of history gets written every day. Because breaking news can't wait. Information everywhere. In all situations. On every subject. Understanding the world. Imagining the world. France 24. A different take on the news.